cameras turned on so we can, for voting purposes. And if Councillor Boussier, if you lose contact, just make your motions with a verbal yes or no. Also, that we continue to reflect the mourn following the sad news of the passing of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, who passed away last Thursday at the age of 96. We continue to send our condolences to the royal family, and our thoughts remain with the people of the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth across Canada and Alberta and here throughout our region. All flags of municipal buildings across the region will continue to be flown half-mast during the official period of mourning. Messages of support can be shared through an online book of condolence, which will be available at rmwb.ca Queen Elizabeth Memorial. People may also visit the provincial government site at the Jubilee Centre, 9915 Franklin Avenue, from Monday to Friday between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. to provide handwritten condolence notices. As well, I'll ask to the region to join me in extending my deepest condolences to all the families and people impacted by the terrible and shocking attacks that took place recently at James Smith Cree Nation and in Weldon, Saskatchewan. Everyone impacted by the senseless tragedy continues to be in our thoughts, and we'll do whatever we can to support these communities as they are grieving and in this time of need as they begin the healing process. And before we adopt the agenda, does anyone wishes to serve a notice of motion? I'm not seeing any in person or online. I can have someone make the motion to adopt the agenda as presented. Councillor Grandison.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that the agenda be adopted as presented.
Thank you. Can I have someone second the motion? Councillor Bajoko.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I second the motion.
Are there any amendments to the agenda? Not seeing any. I'll call for a vote. All in favor? Councillor Walkman. Councillor Walkman, you're online there? There's Councillor Walkman.
There we go. Yep, aye.
Thank you. That's passed unanimously. Thank you. Moving on to the consent agenda, does anyone have any items they wish to remove? Hearing none, can I have someone make that motion? Councillor Bajoko.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that the recommendations contained in items 4.1, 4.2, and 4.3 be approved.
Thank you. Can I have someone second that motion? Councillor Stroud.
Thank you, Mayor Bowen. I second the motion.
Thank you, and I'll call for a vote. All in favor? Not seeing any opposed, it's carried unanimously. Thank you. Moving on to a presentation from United Way, Fort McMurray with Buffalo. I'd like to invite Kathy Steves to step forward and present.
Hi, good evening, Mayor and Council, special guests, and of course our beloved residents of Fort McMurray and Wood Buffalo. It is an honor and a privilege to be with you this evening on behalf of the United Way, Fort McMurray and Wood Buffalo. I remember being here 1 year ago, almost to the day, presenting to you for the first time as the Executive Director of the United Way and your very first meeting as newly elected council members. And we have all come such a long way in 1 year and learned so much in the process. I am glad to note that we all continue to work towards a brighter and stronger, healthier region for all of our residents and have made good progress in doing so. In 2021, we funded 20 agencies, investing 85% of donor dollars back into strengthening our community. 2% was directed by donors to charities of their choice, and it's important to note that these charities were not evaluated by the United Way, and 3% invested into community programs and collaboration projects. I can see many of you doing the mental math in your heads and asking yourselves the same question I asked Mitchell Steves just the other day. What did you do with the other 15%? And his answer, just like mine, is it went into operational costs. 15%. These statistics were audited and made public at our annual general meeting in March of this year. In 2021, the United Way Fort McMurray and Wood Buffalo received some noteworthy recognition that I'm happy to share with you this evening. First, we held the #1 position in Canada for the highest per capita giving. Interesting to note, we rank among the lowest in individual or personal donations by leaders. This is shocking because business leaders in Fort McMurray are among the top earners in the country. Second, it should come as no surprise that our risk management plan is used as the gold standard among the 77 agencies across the country, along with our community investment strategy. And third, we placed first in Canada for our stable assets to liabilities ratio. This means we maintain a strong and sustainable financial position. These are accomplishments I'm very proud to share with you this evening. You'll also be pleased to know that in 2022, in this current funding cycle, we fund 24 agencies and 40 programs in the social profit sector, helping provide services to vulnerable community members. We continue to operate the Red Pole Center thanks to ongoing support from Suncor. This is a community hub where social profit, culture, and sports organizations can work in common purpose to strengthen our region and each other. Our mission to empower everyone to improve lives and build strong communities is the same as yours. This is seen and felt in our participation in the Poverty Reduction Network and the Homelessness Initiative, this next word is hard in English, Strategic Committee Tools for Schools and Period Promise. We humbly acknowledge the many businesses from large to small and individuals who are helping us achieve a common goal for everyone in our community, both urban and rural, to have the support and the opportunities they need to reach their full potential. As we prepare to launch the 2022 annual community campaign this Saturday at the Red Pole Center, 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m., it's a free event, I invite you to pause and consider, what kind of community do you want to live in? What kind of community do you want for your children, your aging parents, for all the people, your coworkers and your staff members? I am so grateful for the community-minded counselors I see before me, and for all of the many hours you spend day and night serving this community relentlessly. You want the same thing, to live in a prosperous, healthy community where no one is left behind, where people can get the help they need and get out of the cycle of poverty, addiction, abuse, and live fulfilling lives and contribute to members of society. Over the course of the campaign, I urge you all to think about your roles as leaders and to give personally and generously. Please set the example for our residents to follow and express your commitment to this region through your support of the United Way so that together we can all move forward and build a Wood Buffalo we are proud to call home.
Thanks, Kathy.
Thank you.
I let you go over by 20 seconds. So
No way, man, that was awesome.
That's my first contribution. You're welcome. Any questions from Council? Councilor Dogar?
Thank you, sir, through the chair. Madam, I welcome you. It's a great presentation. And before I give my comments, I welcome everybody, all staff members after 2 months. It's a great seeing all the faces which make us move, which make us do our jobs. Thank you very much. Surely we'll do good with your help. Now, madam, I visited your organization. I had been hearing a lot for the last 17 years I'm in this town. And the things which I saw, which you briefed me, and every segment, every component was in a perfect place. People working so dedicatedly that I was impressed.
Thank you.
And I congratulate you for that. And not to that extent, so I was busy in many my own events. I will assist you in fundraising, and surely I would be part of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your support.
Thank you, Councilor Dogar. Councilor McGrath?
Well, I'd say through the chair, a lot of energy here in the council chamber this evening, ma'am. You do a great job, and even though you've only been boss for a year, it'd be hard to say no to somebody like yourself. So I think the coolest thing that United Way does that I've seen as a trustee for 17 years is making sure that kids
Yes.
and their parents have the tools for schools.
Yeah.
Because you can imagine without a program, a kid going to school without a pencil or a book and not fitting in on the first day,
Yeah.
well, all of a sudden we'd need that kid and the family having help on another stream. So keep up the good work. And I don't know if there's another given community. It doesn't matter if it's disaster. I remember at the West Ray mine disaster, I think it took us 2 days, and we sent home a check for, I think it was 175 grand. And Unity House wanted some help, and we had a golf tournament in Everton. Another example of the old legends like Johnny Wilson and Danny Dion, those guys, we came back with a check for about 120. I think we broke ground then on the Unity House. So it's sad that we still need these services, but it helps out the most vulnerable. And hopefully, if we all do our part, we can kill a lot of that poison out in our society. Until then, we're sure glad we got someone like you that can come in after seeing some of the stuff that you've seen in the last year. Yeah. Now you know why we need those services. And just to come in and fill our room that needs all the fresh air and energy that you just put off. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Councillor. I appreciate your support too. And it's true, sometimes it's getting off the cycle of poverty, preventing somebody from getting there, and it starts with children. And our recent Tools for School program and Stuff the Bus in collaboration with Staples was a huge success. And I think that sometimes all they need is a helping hand up to get them back on their feet. And the United Way agencies do just that. Thank you.
Thanks, Kathy. Thanks, Councilor McGrath. Councilor Benjoko?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Kathy, for all that you do. It's difficult not to keep repeating the same thing, to commend you for what you what you do in the community. Even the face will make people want to do your approach, strategies, and collaboration across the board of different communities, diversity, and I mean, the way you've included everyone in the community. I just want to commend you, and I also see that you started a new, I don't know if it's new, but I just heard of the initiative for the next generation. It's called Next Gen or something.
Yes, Gen Next, that's right.
Okay, Gen Next.
You got it.
That's really, really commendable that you are raising the leaders who take over from us already. So, again, I commend you, and by all means, if you need us to do anything, please let us know, and we'll be right behind you.
Wonderful.
And of course, I saw the your flyer for the red tie.
Yes, thank you.
Event.
Red Tie Gala, everybody. Get your red dresses, black dresses, whatever you got.
And I'm ready for that.
Thank you. That's a big fundraiser October 1st for the United Way. Appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I don't think I saw it, the email yet. I saw it on Facebook and in the community.
Yes.
So if you can go
Send
through
it.
at me, that would be lovely.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I think we are warming up.
Okay. I love your support. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And when you're speaking of support, there are a number of things that the United Way asks of you. Obviously, to help streamline the process for funding through your CIP grants to our social profit agencies. That helps us. And by providing your personal donations to the United Way, that helps. I also really appreciate you volunteering at any event and showing up and showing your support. and just doing anything you can to help us in your own communities, in your regions would be wonderful. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thanks for all the offers. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Banjoko. Councilor Weigel?
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say thank you, Kathy, to all that you do in the community. You're a huge community supporter, and I want to commend you on your leadership. Through your leadership, I've seen the United Way team grow this year. A lot of new faces, and they're unbelievable. I've had a chance to meet quite a few of them, and they're already community leaders getting out there and doing it. And that's what I appreciate most about your leadership and what the United Way is doing right now, is that you're building a team that is actually community focused. They're out there. They're hands on the ground. They're absolutely incredible. And so above and beyond just supporting the agencies, but the team you're building, I think, will be able to take it to the next level. So I just want to commend you on that and say thank you.
Thank you so much. Over the past year, I think I've learned as a new leader that there's a lot of things to be done, and I'm sure you have felt that as counselors as well. Your attention is being drawn in 100 million different directions, but when you focus on your purpose to serve others, everything works out the right way. Last year, we met our goal, we surpassed it. We managed to lower operational costs, stabilize a workforce. And this year, we move forward with that vision of helping others as our sole purpose in this life. And with your help, because I know you share that vision and that purpose, we can get there together. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Weigel. Thank you, Kathy. Councilor Stroud?
Thank you, Mayor Bowman, and thank you, Kathy, for your presentation and your dedication to our community in your role with United Way, Fort McMurray, Wood Buffalo. I also see you at many events in the community and your emails to council on upcoming events. I appreciate that.
Thank you. I see you everywhere too, Councillor Stroud. Thank you for your support.
Thank you, Councilor Stroud. Councilor Grandison?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through the chair. So I guess maybe, putting our money where our mouth is, maybe we can start by finding out, in the past, we as an organization, as a corporation, used to have opportunities to donate per checks. We used to run funding events throughout the course of the year. I remember we'd have Gene Friday and people could buy a sticker for $1, and all of these things went to United Way. So I would just like to put out the challenge that us as a corporation and other corporations within the community find creative and unique ways to work with the United Way. And if we can create that opportunity here, I'll be the first to sign up for a donation with each and every check. So thank you very much. I love it.
And this year, Matthew Harrison's department is running it, and he's really putting the fun back in fundraising. And so he is doing the sticker Fridays and the let's talk about it, events. And so I'm really glad to see the RMWB back on board with a really fun campaign. Thank you.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you, Councilor Grandison. Councilor Cardinal?
Thanks for your presentation, Kathy. I heard you talk a lot about community. Is rural communities part of this community?
I'm glad you asked that. And I remember you asked that question last year too. And at that point, I wasn't quite sure as the leader where this was going and how we could support the rural communities. So this year, we're running an information campaign to all the rural communities, sharing with them what the United Way does, because I think there's been some missed opportunities in rural communities and also in urban communities, they don't really know what the United Way does. They don't know that we support social profit agencies to do the work in all of the communities that are in the region. So this year, an information campaign to those rural areas to start with, just to let them know we're here, we support these agencies that are already doing good work in all of the rural communities. And next year, we'll push that campaign to a different level, but slowly and gently. I don't want to force anything on rural communities that they haven't already asked for. So it's a balance, it's a communication thing that we're working on, and we're really doing our best to make sure that the entire region is included in all of the services that we can provide. Which brings me to another point, which is the fact that many of these agencies don't have the capacity to go out to rural communities and provide much needed services. And this all comes down to funding. Okay, it comes down to funding and finding good people to come up the highway and work for us in Fort McMurray. And I'm sure you feel that across the region and in many sectors, including business sector. How do we get people to come and work in Fort McMurray? We have to offer them decent salaries. We have to offer them great incentives and advantages. And when we're offering social profit sector workers barely a minimum living wage, it's really hard. And we felt that at the United Way when very strong employees, after going through their training and serving the United Way, will then move forward to work for another company, go into another industry where they can make more money to support their families. And I don't fault them for that. They need to live as well. They need to support themselves, their families. So I know you're working on that, Mayor Bowman, and I really appreciate that this council is working towards creating a Fort McMurray and a Wood Buffalo where people want to come, work, live, thrive here, contribute to the social profit sector, and be able to grow these agencies to the point where we can offer services to our rural communities. It's really important. Thank you. Good question.
Of course, one of my mandates is as a Ward 2 councillor is to make sure that I'm a spokesperson for Fort Chipewyan, Fort McKay, and Fort Fitzgerald. Fort Chipewyan, of course, is an isolated community. We're most often left out from organizations such as yourself.
Yes.
And that's why I'm voicing my concern today, because if there's going to be funding provided for United Way, I believe that Fort Chipewyan, Fort Fitzgerald, Fort McKay really need to be heavily involved as well. And I know that you do wonderful work. I've been to, your events. Yeah. But I just wanted to say, you are doing a wonderful job in Fort McMurray. As to opposed to rural communities, I think that I respectfully ask that, United Way take the time to visit our beautiful communities. And, I also request that you reach out to the chiefs and presidents of the nations and maybe just get a feeler of what it is, if any, they would like to be a part of. That's really all some positive advice I'd like to give. I've requested it before, and I'll positively request it again. So if you could please make the time to have the rural communities involved a little more. Like I said, we're often left out, and I'd really, really appreciate that. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. I take that advice, and we'll make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Cardinal. Councillor McGrath?
Thank you. For a second there, I thought we were going to get you to do us a workshop here, bring us all together. And that, we can make a donation to United Way. I'm
Wonderful.
serious.
All proceeds to the United Way. Thank you.
Through the chair, I guess, in all fairness, you're talking about, we used to have a lot of great things here in McMurray, and I think that one of the things that we do, we to get our community back, as you're saying, is some of those 28 or 20 or 30 planes that fly in them. That's a horse with a different color, but we used to have this sing-off. And, I would say to Marty Giles and John Wilson, I think I could scrape up $1,000 between now and the end of your campaign to challenge Lance. And Lance is a good singer. Johnny Wilson and Marty Giles. And I can tell you that sing-off was a real hit in the community. We had it at Keano College. And Craig Bussey always thought he was Elvis Presley, but we found out he wasn't. And Ron Morgan couldn't sing at all. And Doug Faulkner, he couldn't sing a tune. But we always left with a few dollars for the kids. And I would say that I'll put my money where my mouth is. I don't know where I'll get the 1,000, but we'll get it for you.
Thank you.
And I know Lance is scratching his head. He looked good singing John Travolta. And Marty is actually a professional, right? So here's a challenge for you. And Sandy Bowman can play the accordion, and Stu can host the event. So it's up to those guys now to get it all to work. So keep up the good work, and we'll see you at the workshop.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councillor McGrath. Councillor Walkman?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Awesome presentation. It just fascinates me. Um, yeah, I've been to the events and, outstanding work on raising the funds. But I'd like to emphasize what Councillor Cardinal did say. Fort Fitzgerald and Fort Chip have really been left out in the aspects of, the Salvation Army reaching out to them or them reaching out to the Salvation Army. I think a presentation would be best that, we set up for the rural communities. That way they know that they're there. We need to let them know what's available to them if in need. And it's not only the rural communities, it's Fort McMurray, but out in the isolated areas, I don't think they really know how to reach out. And I think the best thing to do is to do a presentation out. And, we can help facilitate that, both Kendrick and I, with you.
Yeah.
And as for the, the volunteering, I'm up for that. I love doing volunteering for raising funds, or, I'll pick at the counselors as well at the same time. So, yeah. And, like I said, great presentation. We're here to help anytime that you need it. Just reach out.
Thank you so much, Councillor Wakwan and Councillor Cardinal. I love your enthusiasm and your passion for your communities. And I would love to help you stretch the United Way's reach into those rural areas. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, it's not only like reaching out to them for, for them to get the assistance, but they would also participate in any fundraising, because that's the way the communities come together. It's,
that's right.
They love doing fundraising.
Yeah, love it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Walker, and thank you for the presentation, Kathy.
Thank you very much.
We're all finished pumping your tires, so I think we can go. So I'll collect the checks from everyone afterwards, and we'll just bring it over at Saturday at 1 p.m.
Okay, thank you so much, everybody.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. Moving on to new and unfinished business, we have the second and third reading of bylaw number 22/011, an amendment to committee's bylaw number 17/024, specific to the establishment of the Wood Buffalo Pro Business Advisory Committee. I'd like to invite Kelly Hansen, Director, Strategic Planning and Program Management, to introduce the report.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Kelly Hansen, Director of Strategic Planning and Program Management. On January 11th, 2022, Council passed a resolution that directed administration to work with various business organizations to develop a local business advisory committee with a mandate to advise on emerging and existing issues facing local business owners and operations, establishing strong collaborative partnerships and creating strategic solutions that reflected a local business perspective for present and future challenges. Since that time, administration has worked with local business organizations to help develop the proposed mandate and structure for the Wood Buffalo Pro Business Advisory Committee. The primary focus of the committee's proposed mandate is to seek input from and listen to regional businesses and development community regarding reoccurring challenges. In doing so, the committee would gain valuable information and be able to provide recommendations to administration and council that would help ensure that the systematic concerns of the Wood Buffalo businesses and development community are captured appropriately and shared with council on a regular basis. The decision to proceed with establishing this committee would be an important step in meeting the council's strategic plan milestone of establishing a business advisory committee. The bylaw before you this evening was passed on first reading on July 12th of 2022 and is being recommended for a second and third reading tonight. Thank you, and I would welcome any questions.
Thank you, Kelly. Any delegates for this item? No. Do you have any questions of Kelly pertaining to the bylaw or the committee? Can I have someone make the motion? Councilor McGrath?
I move that bylaw number 22/011 being an amendment to the committee bylaw number 17/024, specific to the establishing the Wood Buffalo Pro-Business Advocacy Committee, to be read a second time.
Thank you. Can I have someone second the motion? Councillor Stroud?
Thank you, Mayor Bowman. I second the motion.
Are there any questions by council? I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Any opposed? Seeing none opposed, that's passed unanimously. Moving on to third reading, can someone make the motion? Councillor Weigel?
I move that bylaw number 22/011 be read a third and final time.
Thank you. Can someone second the motion? Councillor Stroud?
Thank you, Mayor Bowman. I second the motion.
Thank you. Are there any questions of council? Not seeing any. Call for a vote. All in favor? And not seeing any opposed, that's carried unanimously. Thank you, Kelly. Next, we have just the appointment of our new Chief Administrative Officer. Just a few notes about him. Paul has a vast experience in leadership and governance and understands the importance of relationship building, investing in staff, and the significance of strong relationships with Indigenous communities and community partners. Labor relations is also an area of Paul's expertise, with experience working alongside a variety of union partners, including Canadian Union of Public Employees and the International Association of Firefighters. Paul's originally from Edmonton. He's a former CEO of the District of Saanich, BC, and also the City of Nanaimo, BC. Building strong relationships and partnerships across the region is something that's very important to us, and I believe that Paul is the right choice for this. With that in mind, we all want to thank the municipal staff, including those in the senior leadership team and the organization that stepped up during the interim period as we found a new CAO. I'd also like to thank the recruitment panel, Councillors Ball, Councillor Grandison, Councillor Stroud, and Councillor Weigel, and those who supported council working collaboratively while this process took place. I also want to thank the excellent candidates that applied and engaged with the council during this process for sharing their vision, commitment to the region, for stepping up in pursuit of this leadership role. And I want to thank all of council for the special meetings we called over the summer during the vacation to take time to get together and discuss the appointments of the new CAO and all the work that went into with the selection committee. It was a lot of hours and a lot of time, and I think we made the right choice, and look forward to him coming in next, be 2 weeks today. He'll be his first meeting. Do we have any delegates to this item?
We have no delegates.
Thank you. Any questions of council? Councilor McGrath?
I was going to just read the motion first. Okay, and then I got a question. I move that Paul, sorry, Paul, can't hear me. Can you help me out? Thorson? Pardon?
Thorkelson.
That must be a West Coast name.
He's from Edmonton.
West, okay, West. No, I don't want to make a mock of it. Paul? Thorkelson, thank you, guys. Be appointed as Chief Administration Officer for the Regional Municipality of Wood Buffalo, effective September 26th, 2022.
Thank you.
If I may, through the chair, just say to the selection committee and staff, what you done here, council selected, I guess, E4 people to go find us a CAO with the help of administration. And after meeting his wife and him at the ball game, I think we're off to a fresh start. And I can only speak about my 8-9 years here. It's the first guy that comes into an organization unscathed, without bias, without a past, a big fresh start for all of us. And I think that's somebody from above, that lady that was just here, and our new guy, the energy, that's the energy we need to move the needle. And that's why I think people put us in the chair, and we're not guaranteed we're going to be here next week, but at least now we got a fresh look. And I really applaud Mayor, the guys, because I know that people that are familiar with the process, we gave you guys a job because I wanted the summer off, and you made a great selection. And it was easy to go out and hitch on to what we know. But boy, I tell you what, when you hitch on to something that's brand new and you don't know, that scared feeling, that turns into be good energy. And I think this guy's going to be a good guy and a good wife. And that's what it takes. It takes a family to raise us and a family to raise a community to raise a kid. And I believe that we got a good guy coming in. And I think as a council, that's brand new. We got a brand new strat plan, a brand new CAO, and who knows, maybe a new council or two before the new year. But whatever it is, we're putting these chairs, as this lady said, to serve the people, not ourselves. And I thank you again. I know I'm long-winded, because what I seen during the process, it was done so elegantly. I met the guy on his interview. Well, you guys were finished, and I think that's why we have committees. People elect us, then we make subcommittees, and I think this is a prime example of helping each other out, using the resources we have, and I commend you. Now, if I'm wrong next year, I'll pick on Jade. Or no, sorry, not Jade, Jane, Lady Jade. So thanks for your work. I know it's a terrible time to be doing work in the summertime, but I think we're set for success, and he comes right in on the budget. So I think we're almost got our wings off the ground here finally. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor McGrath. Can someone second that motion? Councilor Cardinal?
Oh, I second the motion.
Thank you. Are there any questions of council, followed by debate points?
I
Councilor
do, yes.
Banjoko?
I do have a question.
Councilor Cardinal?
Okay. Is the question or is more of like a comment? Okay, I just wanted to say thank you and congratulations to Paul Thorgelson. And I wanted to say thank you to the selection committee, as well as I really wanted to say thank you to Jamie Doyle and his hard work that he put in and his passion that he put into, as his previous job as CAO. I wanted to wish him well and prayers to him and his family on a good and bright future. I also wanted to say, thank you to Linda Olivier for always having prompt and informative responses, and same with Jamie. And I wish them nothing but the best. Linda, if you're listening, happy retirement, and Jamie, happy future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor Cardinal. Councilor Dogar?
Sir, thank you very much for giving me the time. From the committee and the discussions that was on CAO, I could gather that probably nobody from the town or municipality applied for that. I wish somebody could have applied it. And if I asked one of the actors, why don't you apply? You are a good, in the present post, you would be a good CAO also. And, he or she, she said that there's no certainty in this job. There's no attraction for this job. If nobody has applied it, it means it is not very attractive for.
That's upheld. Councilor Dogar, we had a substantial amount of applications for the job.
No,
it was overwhelming.
If Cardinal can comment, I can also comment it. Let's see the future of this post.
Sorry, Councilor Dogar, as a point of order called, what I'm telling you is your information is incorrect.
Somebody applied it from the?
We had a substantial amount of applications from all over this region and Canada. And we can't really, we can't discuss who applied and who didn't apply. That's confidential information.
So, okay, don't tell me that, but I would certainly appreciate the previous council who groomed manager Jimmy Doyle to the position of CAO, and he became the CAO. I hope this council also groomed the next CAO, and as next CEO may groom his successor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Dogar. I'm not seeing any other questions or comments, so I'll call for a vote. Sorry, Councilor Banjoko, you have a question?
No, it was just a comment that we commend the committee, we agreed and you moved forward and performed and delivered on what we commissioned you to do. So I commend you for that. So it will take all of us working together with the new CEO and supporting him so that we all succeed together. That's where we are right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Majoko. So I'll call for a vote. All in favor? Any opposed? Not seeing any. That's carried unanimously. Moving on to item 6.3, I'd like to invite Kelly Hansen back again, Director of Strategic Planning and Program Management, to introduce the report.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Kelly Hansen, Director of Strategic Planning and Program Management. I'm here this evening requesting Council approval for administration to apply to participate in an asset management cohort that's being facilitated through Rural Municipalities of Alberta, Alberta Municipalities, and Infrastructure Asset Management Alberta. Participating in the cohort will continue to grow and support administration's efforts to implement asset management processes and procedures across the organization, which will in turn help guide fiscally responsible decision-making. In addition to the knowledge gained as a part of the cohort, we recognize the value in further developing relationships with colleagues within other municipalities. If approval is granted, administration intends to include 3 to 5 employees in the cohort. Participation includes 3 in-person workshops, virtual working groups, and 1-to-1 phone calls. The cohort will be active for approximately 5 months and is currently scheduled from October 22nd to February 2023. Any required funding for activities in 2022 will come from the currently approved operating budget, and costs for travel and accommodations and potential hosting of workshops in 2023 would be included in the 2023 budget. Thank you, and I'd be happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Kelly. Do we have any questions of council? Councilor Stroud?
Thank you, Mayor Bowman. I just have some comments, Kelly. So I was reviewing the RMA information on the asset management cohort, and they're organizing 2 asset management capacity building cohorts. So it also includes elected officials in a group learning committee. So, and you answered the question for me on the budget, because I couldn't quite figure it out because it starts in October, but you solved that one. I'm just pleased to see this coming forward, as it gives our municipality the opportunity to discuss with other municipalities on their municipal asset management programs and receive support from experts. I think it's a really good program. We've always been a bit challenged with it here in our municipality. And I'd just like to say this initiative is delivered through the Municipal Asset Management Program, which is delivered by the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, FCM, and funded by the Government of Canada. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Stroud. Can I have someone make the motion? Councilor Cardinal?
I got a question. Where's this training?
Through the chair. The training cohorts haven't been determined yet, so the application period would be completed, and then from there they'll look to line you up with similar communities throughout Alberta. They're taking into consideration your geographic location as well to limit costs incurred. There are 3 in-person workshops, and so at this time we would plan for 3 workshops away. However, they have provided the opportunity to host them. So depending on what group we're with, we may have the opportunity to welcome some of those cohort attendees to our region and be able to show some of what we have to offer here.
Okay, nice. Well, of course, any training for administration is betterment for the whole region. So I proudly support anything that administration would like to do to enhance their ability to be better in the workplace. So thanks.
Councilor Stroud? You shut your mic off. Okay, Councilor Bajoko? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move the administration apply for the introduction to asset management cohort through rural municipalities of Abada, Abada municipalities, and infrastructure asset management Abada. That the chief administrative officer assigns staffing resources to participate in the program to advance our municipal asset management program, and that administration include in the proposed 2023 operating budget funding to support staff travel and accommodations as part of the cohort should the municipality's application be approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Have someone second the motion? Councilor Stroud?
Thank you, Mayor Bowman. I second the motion.
Are there any other questions or debate points, Council? Councilor Cardinal?
Thanks for bringing this forward, Kelly.
Not seeing any others, so I'll call for a vote. All in favor, please raise your hand. That's carried unanimously. Thank you, Kelly. Next, we have the 2022 capital budget amendments. I'd like to invite Lori Farquharson, Chief Financial Officer, to introduce the report.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. For the record, my name is Lori Farquharson, Chief Financial Officer. Administration is submitting one capital budget amendment for your consideration and approval. Council is the approving authority for the capital budget as per the provisions of the Fiscal Responsibility Policy FIN 160. Feedback received from a public engagement regarding the Beacon Hill green space restoration determined that the community was not in favor of replacing the tennis courts in Beacon Hill. Residents would prefer the area be restored to a green space. It is recommended that the tennis court replacement project be canceled and a green space project for Beacon Hill be considered in the proposed 2023 capital budget. This capital budget amendment will result in a net decrease of $550,000 to the 2022 and thereafter capital budget as outlined in the budget net change summary. The full budget impact of this amendment is incorporated in the 2022 budget upon council approval. Attachments 1 through 3 illustrate this impact. Administration is recommending that the 2022 capital budget amendment as summarized on attachment 1, 2022 capital budget amendment, project cancellation dated September 13th, 2022 be approved, and that the revised cash flow of capital projects as summarized on attachment 3, 2022 capital budget amendment, project cancellation, project cash flow summary dated September 13th, 2022 be approved. This concludes my presentation. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Lori. Are there any delegates for this item?
Thank you, Your Worship. We have no delegates.
Thank you. Can I have someone make the motion? Councilor McGrath?
I was feeling Elvis here. I move that the 2022 capital budget amendment as summarized as attachment 1, 2022 capital budget amendment, project cancellation dated September 13th, 2022 be approved, and that the revised cash flow of capital projects as summarized on attachment 2, 2022 capital budget amendment, project cancellation, project cash flow summary dated 2022 September 13th be approved.
Thank you, Councilor McGrath. Can someone second the motion? Councilor Weigel?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you.
Just had one question through the chair. Now, it wouldn't be fair to you, ma'am. Congratulations and welcome to your new role. I haven't met you, but we're a short and entertaining group. If there's someone on staff, I know that during the wildfires, there was an envelope of money that was supposed to concur with a capital project as a legacy piece in Beacon Hill. And I'm not going to get it confused with the artistic medal that was going to be over in Gregoire, but there was an envelope of money. Just a note. You might have got it as for crossover, because I know out in the mine we always don't get things crossed over properly, but there was an envelope of money. And I think it had to go back to the Wood Buffalo Recovery Committee. And it was like in Timberley, the TD Bank came through with a community garden as a legacy piece for the kids in school. I know in Beacon Hill there was going to be something as well. There was an envelope of money that was put forward. But I think it's great that the residents come forward and replace the tennis courts. I believe they were between the schools. I believe they were at one point up in Beacon Hill. So if the residents had good input, would that be fair through the chair? Because a lot of times in the community we get Beacon Hill would have probably at its best probably 2,500 people. And I know that there was a dog park in the track, but if they were happy with replacing that, then we support it. Appreciate your work. And I know there's a little bit of money out there, man, because we're used to following the pennies, us blue-collar workers.
Thank you, Councilor McGrath. Councilor Benjoko?
Thank you, Mayor Bowman. I thank you for the presentation. Anything lowering the budget is good. I also want to know, regardless, the green space, is it at any cost, or is it going to be covered through your operating budget, or how are you going to make the change in terms of impacting dollars?
Through the chair to Councillor Benjoko, the request for any future capital project would come through the sponsor area on the 2023 capital budget ask.
Okay, thank you. Thanks again for the positive, taking the community's interest and input and moving forward with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Benjoko. Councilor Dogar?
Thank you, sir. Madam, thank you very much for the presentation. Probably it was your first presentation after your appointment. Am I right?
Through the chair, I believe this is my third time being here.
Okay, sorry, I stand corrected, but certainly I hear you, or maybe I was missing. It was very good, excellent. Now, my question is a very little one, and that is, the green spaces in between the houses, they are not maintained properly. Are you keeping something, some budget for that or not?
Councilor Dogar, I don't think that's what we're referring to in this. This is just the green space that was allocated to be a tennis court that we're changing the funding to be a green space. It's not the green spaces that are between the people's houses. This is the municipality green space that was a green space that was going to be a tennis court, that we're putting it back to being a green space as the residents wanted.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions of council? I'm not seeing any, so I'll call for a vote. All in favor? And that's carried unanimously. Thank you, Lori. I think you're staying right there. Next, we have the 2022 Q2 Financial Performance Report. I'd like to invite Lori Farquharson to remain seated, Chief Financial Officer, to introduce the report.
Good evening. Thank you for welcoming me back. Administration is recommending acceptance of the 2022 Q2 Financial Performance Report as information. As of June 30th, 2022, the municipality is projecting a $7.3 million surplus at year end. Revenues are projected to be $3.3 million higher than budgeted, and expenses are projected to be $4 million lower than budgeted. The year-to-date operating revenues to June 30th, 2022 are $287 million, which is in line with the budget. On an annual basis, revenues are projected to be $573.6 million, which is an increase of $3.3 million over budget. The year-to-date operating expenses to June 30th are $204.4 million, which is $9.7 million less than expected budget on our year-to-date. The downward trend in current spending is primarily related to lag time in staffing, where vacant positions are at various stages of the recruitment process. On an annual basis, the expense projection is $438.2 million, a decrease of $4 million under budget, which is less than 1%. In February 2022, the municipality approved the 2022 capital budget of $156 million. As of June 30th, 2022, the capital budget has been revised to $160.8 million, stemming from 2022 capital budget amendments. As of June 30th, 2022, $38.8 million has been spent on the delivery of capital projects to date. The cash position at the end of June is $1.4 billion, comprised of $300 million in the bank and $1.1 billion in investments. Most of this amount is committed to budgeted services and programs, capital projects, and funds for financial stability. The uncommitted balance equals $300.8 million. As of June 30th, 2022, there is no debt. Capital grants totaling $31.9 million were awarded within the first 2 quarters, including $13.7 million in Municipal Sustainability Initiative funds and $11 million in 2020 mitigation funding related to Ptarmigan Court. Capital grants totaling $45.8 million have been submitted for consideration with both federal and provincial governments. Applications continue to be submitted as grant opportunities arise. Throughout the second quarter, the municipality remained committed to working with the government and other provinces in relation to recoverable expenses. To date, the municipality has received $20.5 million for river breakup costs and $256.3 million associated with the 2016 wildfire. The municipality continues to look for cost efficiencies while providing the programs and services as outlined in the 2022 operating budget. The municipality is positioned positively for financial sustainability while also meeting the expectations of its residents. This concludes my presentation. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Lori. Do we have any delegates to this item?
Thank you, Your Worship. We have no delegates.
Thank you. Can I have someone make the motion? Councilor McGrath?
I move the 2022 Quarter 2 Financial Performance Report be accepted as information.
Thank you. Can I have someone second that motion? Councilor Weigel?
I second the motion.
Thank you. Are there any questions from council?
We're flush with cash. We're still in good shape.
Councilor Stroud?
Thank you, Mayor Bowman. And thank you, Lori, for the presentation. I want to also thank the staff for working on the grant applications. In reviewing the grants received, it's good to see 75% of the Conklin Lagoon upgrade and outfall and 66.92% of the Anzac Conklin Gregoire Lake Estates John V. Water Services project being paid by the provincial government through the Alberta Municipal Wastewater Partnership. I did away with the acronym. And a big thank you to Enbridge Safe Community Grant for the funding of $7,500 to purchase an extrication tool for the John Bay Fire Department. So I'm also aware through the Municipal Sustainability Initiative and other grant opportunities that funding has been put forward both for the rural water and sewer and road rehabilitation. Would it be possible to get an update on this funding from the beginning of the projects? Possibly just a note to Mayor and Council.
Through the chair to Councillor Stroud, I will take that back to my team and request that we pull that together.
Yeah, this project started in 2014. Just so that you're aware. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Stroud. Any other questions from council? Councillor Benjoko?
Thank you, Mayor Bowman. And thank you for the presentation again. It's good to see a healthy report of our performance, our financial performance. So I was looking at the revenues and under penalties and costs on taxes. As at now, we have 2.7 as at the actual as at June. The budget is 2.3, but under annual projections, we have 4.7 million. Did you get you got it? Okay. So I'm wondering if that's not a bit too ambitious to want to have double the income, especially when we look at the historical data of revenues for the past couple of years. For 2021, I believe it was about 2.6 million. And so I was wondering how you're going to achieve 4.7, given that most taxes would have come in by June or by now. So that caught my attention. How realistic is that 4.7? Given the history, did anything change that will make it about 70, 80% more than regular? Thank you.
Through the chair to Councillor Benjoko, $2.4 million was actually an error in the budget estimating process.
Thank you.
So we will, we're reflecting that we will not be receiving that revenue. So we will ensure that that is properly addressed in the 2023 budget cycle.
Okay, so that was an error to be changed or to be corrected?
Correct. When they did a projection of the $4.7 million that they were anticipating in revenue,
yes,
it was overestimated by $2.4 million.
Thank you. So that was a big chunk, so I had to take note of that. And I also noticed the second question is the huge reduction in the expenses in the area of salaries, wages and benefits of 4 million. So I was wondering, even though you mentioned there was staffing changes, so I was wondering, is this as a result of unfilled positions or what could amount to 4 million?
Through the chair to Councillor Benjoko, the $4 million in savings is identified by the positions that have not been filled. So we would have budgeted in the 2022 budget cycle for X positions to be filled, and these positions are currently vacant, which is resulting in the savings.
Thank you. That answers all my questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Majoko. Are there any other questions from council? Councillor Boussier, you have your hand up?
Yes, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
To the chair, to Lori. Lori, thanks for the presentation. Just a couple of questions regarding the grants. What kind of checks and balances do we have when it comes to possible grants that are out there that the RM seeks out? Like, is there an individual or a team that's dedicated to look for funding grants? Like, I know when I served before, I believe there was opportunities that were maybe missed as an organization, and I just wonder if we've looked at other options when it comes to funding opportunities or grants.
Through the chair to Councillor Boussier, at the present time, we have a grant administrator position within financial services. That position is 100% dedicated to searching out coordinating grants for the organization. We also have just recently had conversations with the RBC, who provides a service through one of their vendors. So we're looking at opportunities there. We've also been looking at collaborating more across the departments and looking at various opportunities to ensure there's full visibility into the various different projects that could result in grants. And it's something that we are aware that council is sees as a very important item, and it's something that we'll be implementing into our future work plans.
Okay. So through the chair, Lori, is there, at the end of the year, do we do a check on maybe grants that were missed and how we can improve the process, or do we let council know that we missed out on a few opportunities if we did, not saying we do? Or is that something you'll be working with? And I know you're new to this role, so I guess going forward, because I do believe there's been opportunities, and for whatever reason, we just haven't got around to applying for those, and people are busy, and I understand that. But I guess having said that, is there a system in place now to seek out all grants or all funding possibilities?
Through the chair, it's something that is, I'm not 100% sure on, and it's something that is a high priority for us to ensure we have proper processes in place to identify as many opportunities as possible. And at the present time, I believe a lot of this information is on a spreadsheet. We don't actually have a database, but it's something that we have been having a lot of discussion on how we can track and monitor, integrate with our capital master list as well as other operational reports. So it is something that we hope to improve on and report back to council on a regular basis.
Okay, and just one final question to the chair, to Lori. I think the number you had mentioned is we have 1.1 billion in investments. Are you able to elaborate on what those are? And on the other side of the coin, it looks like we have a healthy balance sheet, but do we owe money in other areas, like obviously Part 9 or Part 9 corporations? Wood Buffalo Housing has some debt or some debentures, and I'm not sure about Mac Island, but do we look at all our assets and what's owing? And do we still actually have the $1.5 billion like we, I think that was reported in your report?
Through the chair, one moment, please. So for our investments, we have $32 million, which is considered as a cash equivalent. So that's with 4 different agencies that do our investment management for us. That's from a liquidity perspective, that's your T-bills that we could tap into very quickly. We have government bonds and GICs that have varying terms, totaling $666.9 million. And then we have corporate bonds for $379 million. And then accrued interest is valued at $10.6 million. I apologize. Could you repeat your other question for me?
I mean, we have some Part 9 corporations, so again, their balance sheets are maybe not as healthy as ours. So when we say we have all this money, we still have some obligations, I guess, for the different Part 9 organizations, don't you? Like Wood Buffalo Housing, for instance, I think they came looking for some funding a few months ago. So we say we have all this money, but do we have debt that our Part 9 hold that at the end of the day we're going to be responsible for?
Okay. Through the chair, the Part 9 reporting of all the agencies are on our financial statements. I can't specifically speak to the details of any debt that they may be carrying. I would have to take that away and review that and report back.
Okay, and just, I forgot, Lori, just when you had mentioned you had an administrator with the grants, so if we have planning and development, I'll use them as an example, apply for a grant, are they obligated to let the grant administrator know that they applied for this particular grant? Or, I guess I'm just trying to get a better understanding how that works.
My understanding is the grant administrator works with the areas. The department would be doing the application, but we would partner with them on that. In most cases, I understand that we do a good job of collaborating, but there may be opportunities where somebody may have applied for a grant and they didn't let us know on the front end, but we generally are notified through the CAO's office or through financial services directly that there are grants available.
Okay, thanks again. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Councilor Boussier. Councilor McGrath?
Thank you, through the chair. I hate to keep the old questions coming, man, but I know that I've been around here long enough to know when Wood Buffalo Housing needs some cash, they're coming to us. When the airport needs some cash, they're going to come to us. So it's kind of ours by virtue, and I appreciate where Lance is coming from. I could have $10 in the piggy bank, but if I got to pay everybody's bills, then that equals 12, and still $2 behind. Simple math. But I appreciate where you're coming from. My question is, at what trigger? I hear all this bragging about downtown, for example. You know, all the money we got out of the province. Well, I can tell you we got $250 million spent. I think we spent it twice. We built a road out the airport 4 times. So all of a sudden the money's running out. But what trigger do you use? And I hear all this, you know, stuff we have in place. But I know when I first got elected, we applied for 2 grants in 1 year. And that's it, because we all had flush with cash. But my question is, if we're looking for money from the province to come flush on our land transfer deal, about 80 million, and we're looking for grants, when do we get the MLA to come in and say he's going to support this grant application, or she will support it, and from the feds? You know, we haven't got $1 off the feds since Adam Germain left office, or Dave Chatters. So I think part of the grant process going forward, I guess the question is, in place now with your policy and your procedure, is there a trigger that once this grant is finished internally, and we have all the eyes on it and all our I's and T's, do we go over across the street to our MLA and say, Tanny and Brian, we need this money to make our community sustainable? And now we got all this carbon capture come. Everybody else is on board with it, but we haven't started it yet. We're talking about putting water through plastic pipes still. But in 5 years, we'll need something different. But what becomes apparent to me, I sit around here for 6 years for the guys that designed the water system, the very guys that are sitting here today. And we said back then it was going to be $500 million, but hey, we're still got about $100 million to go, but that's where we're getting to. And then when I sit in as a councillor and hear that the feds and the province are giving us so much cash, but at the end of the day, we don't know. We need to see the spreadsheet so that we can do our jobs and to make sure the MLA. I know the trouble, and I'm not going to talk about Leilano and those guys, we had to get this home over here. We're taking taxpayers' money, we're putting down payments on mortgages. They're not grants. But anyways, I think that we need, if you can show me the rigor, what you have in place today, where it incorporates the other elected officials. Because bureaucrats can only get us to do our jobs if we know how to do our jobs and armed with the information. Like, we're going to Calgary next week to a convention. It'd be nice to know how much exactly they owe us from the airport road, from the 2 intersections. I heard tonight that it'd be awful foolish to get the contractor in to do, well, I'll tell you what we done. We done it twice to fix up 2 intersections at Mackenzie Park and the airport road. We mobbed in people 4 times. We paid the bill, about 66 million, I think. So I hear all the people around here going, whew, guy's nuts. But you know, the thing is, the guy lived here and his eyes are open. So it's great that we get some grants, but if we're going to keep on spending $450 million a year in operating budgets, and no doubt our capital costs are going to come down because we built Bethlehem, but now we're going to have to keep it open. So I guess grants for me, I can't wait for the next council meeting to know how many times our MLA and our MP are held to account on getting us our grants. And I hate every time I sit in this council chamber hearing about how much they gave us for Clearwater Drive. We hit our costs with the elevation changes over road profiles. But anyways, that's a horse with a different color, but I'm just saying, like, grants, I think if you'd done some history, ma'am, you'd find out that we've been shortchanged here since this building has been built, or since Adam and Chatters left. But anyways, I look forward to, I guess my question is, through the chair, I'm looking forward to the next council meeting to have some historical data on who was the MPs and who were the MLAs that were purged to get us those grants that we didn't get. And if I ever hear anybody saying about mobbing in and mobbing out, we mobbed 10 contractors in to fix a set of steps in front of the city hall. We never got no grants for that. You know what I mean? And it's great that we got some cash, but just wait till we go to jackpot. So keep up the good work, ma'am. You got your hands full, because I think we all got our hands full coming through. You know? Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor McGrath. I think we can take some information to Calgary with us next week when we meet with the ministers, and we'll see both MLAs down there, I would imagine, next week.
I guess through the chair, I don't want to be picking on Brian or Tanny or Layla, because I think they're all human beings. But what I've seen here in 9 years, I wouldn't put in my back pocket compared to what the municipality and the taxpayer spent.
Thank you, Councilor McGrath. Councilor Manjoko?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Sorry, I'm back to the projection of the penalties and taxes, the income, the revenue that we're expecting. When you fix that, does that impact the 7.3 million surplus that was declared or no? I just want to know. When you change that, does that change the figure of our surplus?
Through the chair to Councillor Benjoko, we will be adjusting this for 2023.
Yes.
So it won't be a factor for next year. It's strictly a part of the surplus in the current fiscal year for 2022.
All right, thank you. Welcome. Just wanted to be sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Manjoko. Councilor McGrath?
Thank you, through the chair, and in preparation ahead of time, if administration through the finance officer could get me the letter that where we had to spend the 45 million on the snow dump in Ontario Road, because it exists, I'm told, and I don't believe it did. And I want the other letter saying that we can't dump snow on the south side of this bridge to support the businesses. There's no way that a person should take a load of snow from Gregoire, from say Ron Eager's place, or I don't want to point out the boys, Lance, you know, all these guys, Gary and them trying to make a living, they got to take their snow. And not only that, but that road, there's almost 15,000 kids go to school in the town. And that's where we put our traffic. So I'm still waiting, Mr. Mayor, on the letter that our municipality got from the government saying we had to build a snow dump. And the second letter is, how come we can't be like Edmonton and dump our snow on the landfills that I suggested 5 years ago? We're owed that before we go to Calgary, because in order to us, you know what? Here's the new show. We're sick of being railroaded. And in order for us to do our job, the stuff that was promised to me in this council chamber, we need the paperwork now to go do our jobs. And I know that some serve with me. They're still here. Lance had a little break, but he's still waiting for the same work, the same paperwork. And we haven't seen it yet, but if it's there, it's got to be there because administration told us it was there, and we should be able to regroup some of our money.
Thank you, Councilor McGrath. I wrote that down. I'll take that and try to get that information before we head down to Calgary next week. Are there any other questions of Lori? I'm not seeing any, so thank you very much for your presentation, Lori. I'll call for a vote. All in favor? Councillor Bussier, is your hand up? Yep. That's passed unanimously. Thank you, everyone. And thank you for participating this evening. Marcy Cho, Kinmas Kumpton. Yes.
Question. Thank you very much. In the previous meetings, there used to be some space kept for the councillors to give their some questions, some observations, the community matters, so that could be discussed. But now it is not there, and it is, if it is there, sometime it is kept at the last time. So today we are winding up early. Sometimes we go to 10 or 11 o'clock. So everybody is hurry, nobody is ready to listen, and people want to go. So I would recommend it, please have a in between this gap so that the councillors can also bring up certain observations about the community and certain things which need to be improved.
Is there something you want to say?
Huh?
Is there something you wanted to say?
No, not today.
Okay. Okay, thank you, everyone. Yeah, we can do that at our own time.
All jokes aside, I just want to say to the 5 First Nations and the 7 Métis Nations around our area, although I was on my own journey this summer with Chief Clarence Louis, thanks Dave and Nicole, my wife, to see the culture and see the pictures and stuff from Fort McMurray, to see our culture celebrated, and to see the causeway at the Snai cleaned up. I know administration, I'm a bit of a hard nose, but that's why we get elected, not to get along, but to work together. We all have different purposes to serve. And I know you got a beautiful campground out there, sir. With everybody, I think we all owe it to ourselves to make this community the best it can be. And we haven't done a good job at that as your elected officials because we worry about what each other are doing too much. And I went to a few talking circles and sweat lodges this summer, and I wouldn't say I'm 100%, but I'm better off where I am today. And I'll just share something with you. What I see here is a whole bunch of good people trying to do good things in our community. And if you're given bad information, that's all we're ever going to be, is a community of bad information. And I appreciate Jade and the legislature's clue to keep it going this summer. Because I know that between getting a CAO, having some turnover, it's not an easy job being the mayor. But I think that you have a different kind of council that will keep on making you look good, because that's what the mayor should be, and let the councillors do their job to work with the MLAs and MPs and our residents. And I think that I haven't been around this summer that much, but people like that. And this fall, I think we can work together and bring in our strat plan and get our community engaged, because I don't know about you guys, but I'm here for 40 years, and it's the only community and that my house is only worth half of what I paid for. So, I mean, I'm going to be here for another 20 years. So we all got lots of work to do, and I just want to, on another serious note, just take my hat off. And of course, the Queen passed away, and I wore a medal the night that I got a few years back. But I guess just as, for me, is a little bit more important than the Queen passing, because she lived a good life. She always had. She never wanted. But the kids in Saskatchewan, and I spent a week here in Osoyoos with Chief Clarence Louie and some of those leaders. And I guess why I'm going to take this elected official's job a little bit better is because those kids, they'd be around today if the elected officials had to do a better job, and I fully believe in that. And our job starts with getting the right supports. The lady here tonight from United Way, they get to disperse some money that everybody gives us. But there's a lot of people that fall through the cracks. When you come home to Fort McMurray and you see the homeless problem growing and spread out towards the community, I think we're failing. And it's up to all of us to work together and make it a better community. So to the people in Saskatchewan, I think as elected officials, you got to be rude sometimes, but you got to be hard all the time. And I learned so much this summer about being elected and what it means to do the right thing all the time. And I've never done anything right most of the time, but I did do one thing right. And I always look after the kids and the elders, because that's why we're in these chairs. And that strikes home more than ever when you see those kids. And Kendrick, I know I joke around with you, but you're doing a lot for your community, man. And just don't burn yourself out. But you know, I love you, brother, and you're a different guy now than you were. And all I'm thinking, I don't know if you're going to be an MP or run down in the state someplace, but I know the people of Fort Chip are proud of you, and you're always going to have some people wanting you to fail, and that's the way life is. Don't fail because of them. And I feel better today knowing that I came back home, and I learned a lot. Thanks, Pride. Without you, I wouldn't be here.
Thank you, Councilor McGrath. And thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening, and welcome back after the summer.